Now, set aside your cake immediately after covering, and then let's start decoration. For the decoration, we are using these molds on the table. Okay, this one is one of the molds. This is a crown mold. This is also a crown mold. And I have a mold. This other one, I'm going to be making use of the bead. Okay, and this other one, I'm going to be using it for the key and some parts of the body, and this is for the leg. Okay, so now you start by rolling out a very thick fondant. You don't have to allow the fondant to be light, as the mold we are using is a bit deep. Okay, so you have to make your fondant to be thick enough when you are rolling out. That is, don't flatten it. Now, with shortening on your work table, roll out. And after rolling out, the shortening that you have already applied on the fondant should be enough for you to use to mold. Okay, if it is not enough, you apply another shortening on the same fondant before you start molding. This shortening is going to be serving as a separator. Now, mount pressure. Make sure you press very well so that all the details will be gotten. Okay, after that, use your rolling pin and roll on top for the final pressure. Then with your scraper, start from the middle, press down as you scrape out the excess. Repeat the same from the other angle also. Start from the middle also, and then go to the other side. While this is going on, you will notice a lot of shifts in between the molds. All you need to do is to use your hand and return them back to their normal position before unmolding it. Now, turn the mold upside down and bend towards your side to unmold the fondant. You can see how beautiful it came out. Alright, that is what you are going to do until you get enough that you are going to be using for the design. For this particular design, I am going to be making use of 6. So next, I'll continue again with other mold. This time around, the next mold I am using has a cut. That is something that you can use that can just cut off the excess. And that one is one of the best type of mold. Okay, to pick out the excess is very easy because it has already separated the excess from the normal one. Some molds are like that. They will do the cutting by themselves, while some does not have the cutting parts on the mold. You just have to do it with your hand, picking out carefully with your hand every part that is not needed. Now, this particular mold I am working on now is a bit difficult as you are going to be using your hand to do everything. There is no cutout there that would have been helping you. You will have to figure it out on how to go about it until you achieve the design. The same is applicable to so many other cutouts or molds that are out there. Okay, all you need to do is to use your brain and work it out. Now this is the last one among the modes, and this particular one is for the legs of the box. Now I want us to watch me decorate the cake, okay? My cutouts are ready, but there's little things I will be doing on the cutouts as I am decorating the cake with them. Like the crown, I'm going to cut off that beaded part with my scraper. You know, scraper is straight, that's why I prefer to use it. So the first thing I'm going to do is to start with the up. Anyhow you decide to place it is okay. So you now place one of the crown. Remember, I've cut off the beaded part, that straight part on the bottom of the crown. Now arrange it there and then place the second one opposite of it. Now as I'm working with my shortening. Just apply the shortening as if you are rubbing cream on your body. Don't leave patches of shortening on it. Then after that, there is something I'm going to do now because I want to create a kind of handle on top. I'm going to be cutting off the middle of the very crown I just placed. Now the two crowns gave me a different design. So I'm using this round cutter now to cut the middle of the crown. Just get the middle, position it to make sure you're getting the center of it. You now remove what you have cut. And now start with other designs. We'll be putting something at the middle later. Now this is one of the molds I use. I'm using the cutouts there to place at the edges of the top part of the box. That is at the points, at the triangular points. Now the question is, why am I using shortening? When you are working with a darker color on cake making and you want everything to appear very clean and very neat, try to develop a habit of using your shortening. Shortening helps you to achieve a very good and neat design, mostly if you are working on a white cake. Assuming your cake is white background and you want to use something like blue on it or red on it or maybe any color on it, if you just go ahead using water, you notice that the whole thing will get dented. So the best thing for you is to use your shortening, mostly when the pieces you are attaching to the cake are not too heavy. Okay, now if when the pieces is too heavy, you know, you don't use shortening anymore, you go over for royalizing or maybe your edible glue. But as long as the pieces is something that the shortening can carry, use it. It will always make your cake appear very neat, provided you apply it as if you're applying cream on your body. Don't allow it to be full of shortening patches. Okay, I have placed another crown mold in front of the box. This time I made the beaded part to be facing down while the pointed part up. Now that beaded part is going to be serving as a covering because I'm still going to attach another one under it, making the two beaded parts to face each other. Okay, it will help me know that that particular point where where the beads are is actually where the opening started. So that's the main aim of doing that. And you notice when I was using my long scraper to place under it to make sure it is straight enough, That's another way you can straighten whatever you have placed if you want it to be straight, okay? Now, the same crown I use at the upper part of the bust is the same I'm going to be using at the four edges. Now, looking at the mold, we have two beads, that is two lines of beads, okay, at the bottom of the crown. So I just cut off one part of the line of bead, leaving one attached to it, and then I place. That one is to hold the whole crown together. So the same I'm going to be doing all the four corners. But when I placed it on top, I cut off the entire lines of beads. I did not remain any one. That is why you saw both of them merged together as if they are one mold. Now, to continue playing around with the rest of the mold, all I did here was to divide this particular mold. You can go ahead and apply it the same way it is, all right? But this is to show you that you can actually do different designs using it. You can separate them and use it one, or you can place them together without separating it, okay? That is, you can just place it the way it is. So, but here I separated it because I have a different kind of design I want to be designing. So just go ahead and watch me play around with these molds to achieve what I want. So now from the bead mold design, I am cutting some tiny balls. The reason why I decided to use the bead mold is to get equal balls, okay? So when I cut, I place. I was just scattering it all over the bust, but not too close to one another. I was making sure that I give some dotted designs all the places where you have so much space. And at the end of the day, on top also, at the edge on top, I placed a line of bead on top, okay? You will still see it, but I don't think it showed on camera when I did it. Now, we're going to be putting the cover holder. So for the cover holder, roll out a thick paste. I just want you to watch how I play around with it to get the upper part of it. So with the same cutter you use in cutting off a round shape at the top, you still use the same cutter to get something to place there. Now after that, you use your skewer, all right, and go ahead and create some close indentation around it to form a design. Now, you take the next in line of the cutters, the round cutters, and still cut another one. This time it has to be smaller than the first one you cut, and then place on top again. Repeat the same design, that is, create the same lines of design you created on the first one. To place another one on top of the last one you just placed, form a little ball, something smaller than the last one you placed, and then press down. Also, place on top of the last one, okay? Next, make a sausage and insert a skewer at the middle, and make sure the sausage is not wider than the last one you placed, okay? And then also go to that one and insert through to pass through the rest of them. Next, you make a ball again. This time around, the upper part should be like a kind of U shape, while the under will be flat. But the U shape, that is the curved part, will not be very long. It's just to make it look like a cap. And after that, you design the side of the cap and still place it. After this, make a smaller ball also. Flatten a little, making the upper part to be round, that is curved, while the under is flat. Place it there. Arrange it in a way that it will not bend. Else, by the time it dries bending, you will no longer be able to remedy it. Now, transfer the cake to the gravity board. Remember, another type of board is under the cake already. Okay, now it is assumed that you are setting it up at the venue. So you now start attaching the legs. After attaching the 4 legs, the next thing you do is to start painting. For the painting, we are going to be using gold luster dust with edible spirit mixed together. And after the painting, we are going to be inserting the royal box key, which I'm going to also show you how to make it. Remember, for the painting, we are only going to be painting all the designs we placed on the box. Okay, all the designs. We're not going to touch the inside, that is the main body of the box. That's the only way the royal color will come out very fine. Now look at the line I'm painting now. You will notice that I placed a line of bead at the edge there, okay? You can see it. The same thing I did on the upper part. There are some areas I just rounded with the bead mold. That is the fondant I got from the bead mold, okay? Now looking at the cover handle, you will see where I placed the bead I'm talking about. At the neck of the handle there, and on top round the last ball I placed. Okay, you can do anything, you can play around anyhow you want on your cake, and it will come out very lovely. Now for the royal box key, we will need this particular mold, the middle part of it. Okay, and I've been able to mold one. I'm going to be doing the next one also, because we need two of that middle part to form the key. Get a small fondant, make a ball out of it, and then insert a skewer in between. Then turn it into a sausage while it is still on the skewer. Next, cut off the unwanted part from the heart shape. Next, press down the upper part of the skewered sausage and then apply some liquid on the heart shape. Place and then cover with the second one. Set aside to dry for at least 24 hours before painting. I have previously done this one and you can see it's very dried, and I am now painting. Just make sure you paint front and back of the key. Then after painting, break out some parts of the skewers you don't need and insert it into the box. And the royal boss cake is ready. Please, if you are new to my channel, subscribe, and again give me a thumb up. Just like the video for me so that YouTube can recommend it to others. Okay, and then if you have any question or any comment, you can join the Telegram group. Follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook. All the links are down below, that is in the description box. Okay, ask me any question in any of the group or even in the comment section. By the grace of God, I will answer all. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate. God bless you all. Bye for now.